An original podcast from podlatino.com.
Michael Jackson, the king of pop, was more than a musical icon. By the 1990s and 2000s, his name was no longer just tied to sold-out stadiums and groundbreaking music videos. It became entangled with some of the most high-profile legal battles in modern entertainment history. His fame, his wealth, and his eccentric lifestyle all collided with accusations that forced the world to see him in courtrooms rather than on stage. The first legal storm erupted in 1993, when a 13-year-old boy accused Jackson of sexual abuse. The case shook the foundations of his carefully built image. For the first time, headlines were not about his music, but about allegations of child molestation. Police searched his Neverland ranch. The media frenzy was unprecedented, turning every detail of the investigation into prime-time news. In January 1994, Jackson reached a civil settlement of $23 million with the boy's family. Though he never admitted guilt, the decision fueled controversy. Was he protecting his innocence or paying for silence? The criminal investigation was eventually dropped when the accuser refused to testify. The accusations, however, left a permanent scar. Jackson's reputation suffered, and advertisers pulled away. Yet he carried on touring and releasing music, insisting on his innocence and portraying himself as a victim of extortion. But the seed of suspicion had been planted, and it would follow him for the rest of his life. A decade later, in 2003, the shadows returned. After a documentary called Living with Michael Jackson aired, showing him holding hands with a young boy and admitting to sharing his bed with children, prosecutors saw an opening. Santa Barbara authorities launched a new investigation. In November 2003, Jackson was arrested on multiple counts of child molestation and providing alcohol to a minor. The charges were serious enough to potentially end his freedom, not just his career. The 2005 trial became a global spectacle. Dubbed the trial of the century, it drew media outlets from across the world. Jackson, frail and visibly stressed, walked into the courtroom each day dressed like a showman, yet behind the glamour was a man fighting for his life. Prosecutors painted him as a manipulator who used his wealth and Neverland ranch to lure and groom children. The defense countered that the accusations were fabricated by families seeking money. Over 5 months of testimony, the courtroom heard from dozens of witnesses, including former employees, children who had visited Neverland, and celebrities. Graphic allegations were made, but the defense dismantled inconsistencies in the accuser's stories. Finally, on June 13, 2005, the verdict was delivered. Not guilty on all 14 counts. Jackson wept. His fans celebrated, but the damage was irreversible. The acquittal did not restore his reputation to what it once was. To many, the verdict proved his innocence. To others, it was proof of celebrity power shielding him from justice. After the trial, Jackson left Neverland and lived mostly in seclusion. Yet his legal troubles did not stop there. He faced ongoing civil lawsuits, including contract disputes and claims of unpaid debts. His lavish spending habits had caught up with him. By the late 2000s, lawsuits from former associates and creditors mounted, painting a picture of financial chaos behind the gates of his fantasy world. Even after his death in 2009, the legal battles did not end. His estate became the subject of intense disputes over royalties, rights, and accusations from new claimants. The 2019 documentary Leaving Neverland reignited public debate, featuring detailed accounts from 2 men who alleged Jackson abused them as children. While not a courtroom trial, the film reopened the case in the court of public opinion, sparking fresh lawsuits against his estate. Michael Jackson's legal history is a labyrinth of accusations, trials, and settlements. He was never convicted of a crime. Yet his reputation was forever marked by suspicion. The king of pop left behind a legacy of brilliant music and groundbreaking art, but equally, a trail of courtroom battles that blurred the line between myth and man. In the end, Jackson's story is not just about fame, but about how the legal system, the media, and the power of celebrity collide. His trials became symbols of the complexities of justice when the accused is not just a man, but a global superstar.